What's going on? Ryan Troy back with another video for you today. And in this video, I'll be talking about the Nikon ZR and giving you my thoughts from my perspective. But first, before we do that, Nikon sent me a little gift to play with. That's right. Right here we have the Nikon Z50 Mark II. Let's do camera last. But kit lens, which I've had this lens a lot of times now. I've had this lens so many times with so many other cameras, which I am going to talk about in this video. Brings up my ZR point. Have a nice little thing that I'm not going to use, camera strap, not for this video. And this battery, which once again is something I'm going to be talking about due to the ZR as well. Like, do you see the size of this battery right here? Is it a problem? It is. It's a problem. And I know from experience that it doesn't last that long. But start a show. Nikon Z50 Mark II. This is a crop sensor camera in case if any of you guys do not know this. Go ahead on and pop this in and turn this on real quick. New addition is the fact that the screen flips out differently. If I could get this plastic off. There we go. Turn that on. Perfect. Either no lens is attached. That would be correct, Nikon. No lens is attached. This right here doesn't even, it just comes straight off. Like I said, I've used this lens so many times. Look at that sensor. Look at that sensor right there. Okay, another thing with this is you have to hit 16 before it lets you do anything. And then voila, auto ISO, let's turn that off, boom. And yeah, 16mm lens right here. Boom. It is really nice. Okay, so now that we got that out the way, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are not interested in, I'm gonna bring this full circle shortly. So Nikon released the Nikon ZR. And if you know anything about me or my channel, you will know I have been asking Nikon about this for a while, like this time 3 years ago. For that. Now, we know with other companies, they have dedicated video cameras. And that's something that is important to me where I don't want to spend, the amount for this. I would rather spend money like that on just a dedicated video camera. Do you guys think in the future you may think of doing something like that?
Well, I'll tell you this, the Z9 is probably the most compelling hybrid video camera,
As you can see, I wanted a camera like this for a very, very long time because I felt like when it came to other brands, like they had some type of video first type of camera, right? And I wanted Nikon to have that same thing. Now, if you are a cinematographer, I am not. Now, let me just throw that out there. So if you came to this video because you want perspective from a cinematographer, you're not getting it here. What am I? I am a content creator. I do educational content. I'm a photographer. And that's the type of stuff I want. But I want my camera so when I'm going different places or when I'm filming and shooting content, like I want to be able to have something that's really quick that I could go ahead on and go with. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up this Z50, right? Because I said I'm going to tie this all in together. I had a camera, which was the Nikon Z30. The best camera in the world for me, just for that portable type of, on the go type of movement and stuff like that. But my problems with that is the video did 8-bit, not 10-bit. It didn't do log. And it also didn't have Nikon's new processor, which lets the autofocus, go really, really fast and snappy. So me personally, I wanted to wait for a Z32. Like that was my goal, right? Now, because I have a relationship with Nikon, they send me a lot of things to review and check out. So for instance, what I'm recording on right now is the Nikon Z50. And I've had this camera for about a year now. And it's been time for me to either send it back or buy it. And I reached out to them and I said, you know what? I just want to buy it. Let me buy it. So they're doing all of the paperwork behind the scenes. And while they're doing that, I said, go ahead on and send me the Z52, right? Because one, I'm going on a trip real soon, which you will see for Evoto. I'll be going there real shortly, actually. And I felt like a camera like this that was such a small body that I could just take with me and, you know, like kind of vlog and stuff like that. Like this would be amazing for that. So that's why this came here. But here's the thing, Nikon doesn't, I'm not on Nikon's really good side where I knew the ZR was coming. Didn't know it was coming at all. So while I'm waiting for this paperwork, and it's been over a week, and I'm just like, what's taking so long? And my only assumption now is they didn't want me to pay that money for that camera knowing they were about to release the Nikon ZR. Now, what the Nikon ZR does for me is everything I need my Z63 to do, or Nikon Z63 to do, plus everything I wanted from the Nikon Z30. I mean, it's design-wise, I mean, it takes from a lot of different things, but if you see like the two microphones on the top of the ZR, that was on the Z30. And the Z30 had a thing you could put into the hot shoe to give you like this little wind muff. And in the jam, it records great audio. Same thing. The ZR, the top part, great audio. Now, do they have the little thing? You probably could use that same Z30 accessory for it and get better, like, you know, quality out the audio when it comes to do with like being outside. Now, a lot of people are comparing this, are saying that this is competing with the FX3. And if you guys want to have that conversation, go ahead on and have it. Leave me out of it though. Why? Because I don't need nothing like a FX3. And when you see something like Nikon's jumping into cinema and you put that bar at the FX3, then will you or can you be disappointed? Sure. And this is a thing that comes a lot when it comes to people that shoot Nikon or don't shoot Nikon, is no matter what Nikon do, they're never happy. Like it's impossible for them to be happy. I saw the ZR and I was instantly, like just when things were leaking, I was just looking like, this is the camera I need, and I was hoping that it didn't have one thing. Now, you know, Nikon rumors start leaking a lot of things, and it was some things that was a bummer, like, yes, the micro HDMI, right? But like everybody else is saying, the screen is 4 inches, so you might not need the external monitor. I wasn't gonna put an external monitor on it anyway. Once again, I'm not out here making movies. I'm making YouTube content. So with that being said, it was a bummer, but I really didn't care like that. My biggest thing was, because like I said, the Z30 is something that I wanted, and I knew they wasn't giving us a new Z30 when they got the Z52. And this thing is actually really special from some modes that they have. But I knew that they weren't giving us that right away, or if ever, because of this camera. But the Z30 also didn't have IBIS. So if the ZR wasn't gonna have IBIS, then that was gonna make me just go ahead on and buy the Z63. That was my only thing that would have stopped me from buying or pre-ordering the Nikon ZR, which I did, just to let you know, I pre-ordered the ZR. Now, what I wanna say to all of those people out there that are disappointed, right? Because the way I see it is this. This is a Nikon Z63. And the guts of the ZR is a Nikon Z63. Just like we have the Nikon ZF and the Nikon 52, where their guts are pretty much exactly the same, right? Same camera. Same thing when it comes to the ZR. I personally feel if you want that FX, 3 camera, that could be the Nikon ZR Pro. Now, do I know something? No, I don't. But I think that would be, or that could be, the thing that will make a lot of you people happy. And I say that because at the price of $21.99, $2,200, what more do you expect? Nikon gave us a whole lot for $2,200. $2,200 that a lot of other camera companies aren't. Now, I had a conversation with a friend and they was like, well, if they're doing that, that's backwards. Look how they did with the Z9. That came out first. Then after that, the Z8 came out. Then, you know, they went with the Z63. And I'm like, well, this wouldn't be Nikon's first time doing that, because keep in mind, Nikon came out with a Nikon ZFC first, right? And then years later, they gave us a Nikon ZF. So it wouldn't be, you know, unlike Nikon to give us something like this, which I personally feel this will sell way more than something that costs $4,000 for Nikon. I'm just going to be completely honest. If you want to grab an audience, you make it affordable. This is, I want to say, about $400 cheap due to tariffs with the Z63, about $400 cheaper than the Z63. And it could take photos, but would you buy it for that? I mean, no, but it's there, like has the same sensor. When I get it, I will test it out to see how the photos are. But it's not really much you can complain about when it comes to this, right? Like, it does amazing video, just like the Z63. You have 32-bit float audio, unlike the Z63. You have a very, very small size. I'm talking vlog size. If I want to hold it up the same way I'm holding this, if I want to hold it up like this and walk around and go about doing what I want to do, I can. I can do that when it comes to the ZR. If I want to pack it in my camera bag without it being so big, I can. Just like I can with the Z52, that's what I meant to say. So will or should they make a ZR Pro? Possibly, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that came down, right? I wouldn't be surprised if Nikon releases their Nikon Z9 2, and then shortly after, they release a Nikon ZR Pro, right? Or a Nikon Z9R, you know, just something like that. Probably not that. I don't know what they're gonna name it, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. So, if you guys are out here trying to compare this thing with the FX3, like, you can miss me with that. I really don't care. This right here fits a way bigger need in the creative market, and I think this is a win for Nikon. I'm really curious to know what you guys think. And the best thing about this is, with the new adapter, the ETZ adapter or whatever, a lot of Sony people could go ahead on and buy this without having to decide, like, do I want to buy this camera and sell all of my stuff and go to Nikon? You don't even got to do that. You keep all your lenses. You just buy the body for $2,200, buy the adapter, and then just use all of your lenses. Literally, just keep the adapter on the camera and just use all of your lenses, and then you're fine. Like, this has so much of a bigger sell potential based on, you know, the red raw, if that's what somebody wants, or, you know, just when it comes to all of the specs of this camera for Nikon users and for Sony users that already have a lot of Sony glass. You don't have to buy this and then jump ship and get on a Nikon bandwagon. Now, I'm pretty sure Nikon will want you to do that, because I feel like Nikon makes majority of their money through their glass anyway. Because $2,200 for something that has specs like this, I just feel like they gotta be taking a loss, right? Especially with the tariffs, where they just increased the price of almost all of their camera bodies. But for some reason, this is $2,200. Also, let me let you guys know something. The Z8 came out at $4,000, and then it was like $3,499 or something. The Z63 came out at $2,400, and then it was like $2,100. If this is coming out at $2,200, you give it 6 months to a year, how Nikon usually lowers its prices, you could be looking at a camera that's going to be $1,800. I know a lot of people that pre-ordered more than one just because they want different angles and all of that. Like, this has potential. I just want you guys to look at the positive side when it comes to this. This is an incredible camera. So that's all I got to say. Like I said, keep in touch for my review on the Z52, because like I said, Z52, got to make sure I'm saying these things right. Because this camera, you know, even though it is a crop sensor, this is definitely going to fit my purpose until I get that ZR. Once I get that ZR, probably won't have a need for this, just to be completely honest with you. I want to test this thing out and see exactly how much better it is and everything. So keep it locked here. We're going to go to that Evoto conference that's coming up real soon, and I'm going to brief y'all on all of those details. I feel like I'm only going to bring this camera right here to do all of my video with. So until the next time, I am Ryan Troy. Peace.